Washerman Mongolfy representing the activated morning from WEFM 99.9.
Rise and shine. Get ready to take on the next activated morning on EFM 99.9 is on now.
All righty, so we, in an extended sense, are back with you this morning for another Activated Mornings program here on WEFM. It is it is Wednesday, the 13th of August, 2025. And before it slips me, good morning and happy birthday to you, DJ Rich. All right, a little birdie whispered that to us. So good, happy birthday to you. We are back for another Activated Mornings program here on WEFM. In studio, it is myself. Generally, I would introduce myself last, but there's a reason why I do this for this morning, all right? So in studio, you have myself, Roleza Samuel.
And Dianna.
And we have a special person with us this morning, and I'd allow her to introduce herself to us. Good morning to you.
Good morning. It is so good to be here. Hello, world. Hello, Simpson. I am Nicole Joseph Chin, and it brings me much joy, much pleasure to be on the air with you today and to share. It is really, really a beautiful time to pause and connect with the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the Caribbean, and the world at large.
All right, so persons will notice she pronounces it Nicole. The rest of us would say Nicole, but she says Nicole. I thought about it last night. Is it French? Is that the French pronunciation?
It's the French pronunciation, but we live in the Caribbean.
It's okay to say. Well, you know, the young lady next to me, her name is spelled as Dianna, but it's pronounced Dianna, right? And because it's pronounced as Dianna, I have to say Dianna. So I'm going to extend the same courtesy to you, Nicole. All right? All right, so Nicole is joining us, and she will be a part of the Activated Mornings program. We just have to fine-tune a little bit of structure and etc., but she is going to be joining us as the third co-host here, or the third host here on the Activated Mornings program.
Lady!
Man, boy, how y'all feel about this one? What is it, woman take it over? I think we've been taking over for a while now, all right? Yes. All right, so officially welcome to the Activated Mornings program, and we are happy to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here.
All right. All righty, so let's just want to say good morning to everybody. Hey, Joshua, you see that? I actually have a special song for you coming up at minutes before 7:45. You see exactly what you're right there? I have a song lined up for you, all right? So good morning to Joshua, and good morning to the other persons, both on the live and listening to us in the airwaves. So Nicole, before we get into the meat of our conversation, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am of Vincentian heritage, and I want to push that there right there.
So Missy, where are you from? Where are you from? Let's scale up your village. Scale up your village.
I know the whole
Okay.
Born and raised in Trinidad and Tobago, however, a global citizen with a Caribbean heart. I focus on impact. I love impact. I love to see when lives get changed and the transformation. I love to see how the leadership embraces anything that will continue a journey of sustainability. I like when women rise. I like when youth takes the chair of power, the seat of power. I like when folks inside of underserved communities show up and rise. I am the product of an underserved community in in terms of my schooling, but I always say, you could be schooled and then you could be educated. And so I have worked inside of global places, global spaces. I've worked on 5 continents, I speak 3 languages. What else can I share? I'm a foodie, I love good food. Oh my God, since I've gotten in St. Vincent, I have been fed on but I have a question for you. How will it get them baked so nice and round? It looks like tennis balls. How?
Personally, I can't answer. I've never made baked a day in my life.
Mine don't look like that.
Yeah.
My mama's, I tried. Maybe when you get flushed out in age, it happens. Because it happens to me.
When you listen to me, I have been just so enamored. That's the right word. I fall in love with them wrongly. And the thing is, they even taste. They have a beautiful and distinctive taste. Because they're more mellow. And every Caribbean island makes a bake or a representation of something with flour, right? Because that's who we are, right? But when you see it digging into that nice circular bake, you're almost thinking twice because it's like, I want to play tennis or I want to eat it. But
Okay.
why not just put it in a showcase?
I just look at it.
Just look at it. It's nice. So, yeah, that's pretty much me. We're going to discover me more.
Correct.
But that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. All right. We are indeed going to learn a lot more about you as the time progresses. But again, as I said, we're happy to have you with us.
True.
All right. All righty. So just a note with regards to this morning's programming, at around 8:10, we will be having a conversation with Ricky Wright and Rochad Smith, both personnel from Vilnex. And this will be in relation to Vilnex's smart meters, what you as customers should know. So as many persons should be aware of, some of you might be aware, on Monday, the smart meters project was launched. And I noticed that on social media was rife with a lot of comments with regards to that, all right? So you have your questions, you have your concerns. That interview at 8:10 will be perfect for you to have your questions answered, all right? So you'd want to be listening up for that at 8:10. All righty, so to get into some other matters at this time, and not on a very positive note in this particular instance, reading from Atlas News Network, there is a birthday celebration turns tragic in Richland Park. An accident claims the life of Angus Pompey. All right, so this is news that I literally woke up to first thing that I opened the phone and saw this on social media. All right, so at approximately 11:45 p.m. Last night, a tragic accident in Richland Park claimed the life of Angus Pompey, a construction worker who, according to a source, had been out celebrating his birthday when the incident occurred. The same source told the A&M that the vehicle he was in went over an embankment. Emergency services responded promptly to the scene, and authorities are now investigating the circumstances surrounding the incident. A&M will bring more information or bring further updates as this information becomes available. And this is indeed sad to read, as it is another situation or another incident of a birthday celebrant dying or passing away on his birthday or in relation to activities in relation to his birthday. And indeed it is sad. We had a similar incident occurring on Saturday and yet another one today.
A young boy and now an older boy.
Yeah, so, it's, there's always this thing of, what is it? It's YOLO.
You only live once.
You only live once. And, sometimes when persons are out celebrating their birthdays, they're not aware that maybe that might be the last time that they're celebrating their birthday. So that is what kind of came to my mind when I thought about it. And given that it's the second such incident of it happening, it is indeed unfortunate. Right?
I just find these things so interesting, to see that they're happening. So it's just a couple of days, just a couple of days, and we lost another person. We had a whole weekend of tragedy, and now we're into the week. We have something like this again.
Yeah.
And what makes it sad as well is how many people are left behind that are in shock, and the fact that they were all at one point being very joyous, and now the flip side of that is it's just total pain and anguish and grief.
And the persons who you are celebrating with, you know, the memory is going to be, but we were just here together.
Exactly.
You know, that is what is going to be the last memory that they're going to have, which is what it makes it so challenging, all right?
Expect somebody to die on their birthday, you know?
Yeah.
And after celebration.
Yeah. All right. So for about 5 minutes, we just want to quickly touch on something that that kind of made me chuckle. Sorry, sometimes weird things make me chuckle, but I chuckled nonetheless. This is in relation to an article that came out on ANN, right? And it's titled "ULT's SDG Advances in Human Development." Now, I actually want to scroll down to a part within that article so you can read the full article. I'm only focusing on parts of it. All right, so this came in relation to the PM making mention that, you know, the elections can be called at any moment in time. And he was making a point towards the persons. All right, let me see if I can find that very quickly. All right, why am I not seeing it at first sight? You have it there pulled up?
No,
Okay, let me. All right, my apologies. I'm not seeing it there at first sight.
Where he's talking about those who, even if you haven't gotten anything now,
Right.
remember
Yes.
from before.
Mhm.
Or he said something about if you're dissatisfied now, think about all of the times when you were satisfied and don't focus on that particular one. Yeah.
All right, so all right, my apologies, listeners. I'm usually a little bit
So
difficult.
he addressed those feeling dissatisfied because they did not receive certain assistance, such as a new board for their roof. And he said, you may not have gotten the board changed, but your child might have received a scholarship, or another person in the same household might have benefited. When you think about not being satisfied, think about how many times you were satisfied.
And I have to ask the question, how do persons who may not have been direct beneficiaries of either government policies or things that government has put in place, how do those persons decide to vote, right? Because, you know, sometimes people are saying, okay, so if you look at some of the government initiatives, there is the education revolution, there are, let's say, prime grants, there is the 100% mortgage financing. Persons within agriculture who may have benefited under agriculture support, etc. Small business grants, etc. Those persons who have not tapped into anything to say, well, you know what, I have directly benefited, so I am going to vote for the government. Those persons who have not benefited, either because they've chosen not to or because they've not had a reason to, how do they actually go about voting? And to me, that is something that I always find of interest in terms of how is it that we vote here in SPG. And to have him say that point, for him to make that point, you know, I'm a little bit curious for those who just never got anything or never benefited anyway. What is going to be their push factor to vote?
One thing about the PMNC, he gets his information. He gets his information. Because there are people who would say they're not voting because they haven't received this and they haven't received that. I would hope that persons would understand that the government isn't going to get to everybody. I'm not pleased that something like this will happen, but the government isn't going to get to everybody. And that's something that we all have to understand. When we put out a project, you try to find what project you can get onto, what may benefit you. And if you don't benefit, then you have a couple more years that you can wait to get something from that government. And if you don't, then you get something from the other government. Or you focus on the other projects that have taken place in the country where you do benefit. So you may not have gotten, let's say, as he said, a vote for your personal roof. But they built a road where you live and you get to benefit from driving on a road that is proper. For the persons on the windward side, they always talk about the bridges that they build. Everybody uses the bridges. So focus on what was done for the general population that you can benefit on if you so desire. But hopefully you will not live in that place where you're constantly thinking, I didn't get this, I didn't get this, I didn't get this. Because if you're going to live like that with the government, then you could do that with everybody in your life and just focus on what you didn't get for everything.
And you know, the thing about, you know, I mean, I'm weighing in here politically, but this is socially more than anything else, right? What you find is that closed mouths don't get fed. So if you don't speak up or if you don't, you know, articulate what is that thing that you would like to see improved, especially for yourself, not just for yourself from that perspective of gaining anything. But what is it in your life that you desire, that you would like to change or achieve? And then you go into that space where you know it is available. So if you know you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to start up a business, and you just are too shy or not aware of how, sometimes it might be that, and I always say we don't know what we don't know. So it's not just like asking for guidance, asking for help, seeking out the person who is actually responsible for, and then asking, I don't know. And one of the things we don't do as humans is say we don't know.
All right, so Nicole, we're going to have to take this back up at 7:45, just after 7:45, after Kingsley's commentary, right? Because we have to head directly into today's traffic talk.